Niners 6-0 for the first time since 1990, and we're joined by their leading receiver, a man of the people, the tight end of both of my fantasy teams. Sometime journalist when Jimmy Garoppolo is at the podium, George Kittle. You seem like you are having a blast this year. Is this the most fun that you've had in your career?
Yeah, I'm having an absolute blast. Winning games is a lot of fun. And what makes it even better is the group of guys that we have on this roster just kind of makes those wins sweeter. We have such a close team and just a great foundation. How
have you done this? From 4-12 last year, undefeated so far this season. What's been the biggest difference for you guys?
I think a lot of it's just we've had a lot of guys grow up. Myself included. We were very young the last 2 years, and with Coach Shanahan, I think everyone knows he's had a pretty complex playbook, pretty dense, and it takes some time to get used to it and the terminology and everything. And now we got Jimmy's been in it for 2 years. I think everyone's just kind of figuring it out. And like I said, we have a really close team with a lot of good guys, a lot of good character, and the wins and the hard work are finally paying off.
In what ways is it complicated, what he has you guys doing? Are there, more plays in the playbook than other teams? Is it explain? Because we hear all of this about Kyle Shanahan being an offensive genius, but what does that actually mean? What's it look like?
We install a whole new playbook basically every single week, and this is the only team I've been on, but I've never done that before, and so it's having to learn concepts. Formations are kind of similar, but everything else is kind of new, and every week is completely unique for each team, which is it's a challenge, but it's also what makes it really fun. You're never running the same plays, and kind of similar, but everything's usually different, and it makes it kind of exciting.
I know your run game gets a lot of love, so I want to focus on your quarterback. What's the best thing about Jimmy Garoppolo as a quarterback?
Oh, wow. Best thing about Jimmy, I think I've said it 100 times, but just the leadership that he brings. My favorite thing about Jimmy was, I think it was his first start against, I want to say it was the Bears 2 years ago, and he came down the sideline and was he said something, and every single head on the entire sideline snapped towards him, whether it was defensive players, offensive players, specialists, coaches, equipment staff, trainers. Everyone turned to listen to what he had to say, and I don't know if there's a lot of guys that are like that carry that weight and that authority with them, but he does, and that was in his first career start with us, and so he's definitely got the respect from every single person in this building.
How about your defense, which is balling? You go up against them in practice. How does that go?
Yeah, I don't really. You can't really say enough about our defense and just kind of what they're doing. The last 3 games, giving up almost no yards. I think they've given up a couple points here and there, maybe, but they're playing so well, and it's just so much fun to watch. They get us fired up. But when you have a D-line like that, I'm really happy that all those guys in our D-line are on our team, so I don't have to play against them on Sundays because it makes my life a lot easier.
Do you win your battles against them during the week?
I'm trying my best, but I might get them once or twice.
Okay, let's talk about you, George. One of the best tight ends in the game. Definitely the people's tight end.
Can you smell what the Niners are cooking?
And I'm not the only one who thinks that you are the people's tight end. How about that shout out from The Rock a few weeks back?
I don't know if I've woken up from that dream yet, so I'm still working on that. My wife's pinched me a couple times, but I think I'm still dreaming. It's definitely one of the cooler things that's happened to me. Humble brag, but I got Stone Cold and The Rock following me on Twitter, and that's probably one of the coolest things ever, and I feel like a little kid every time I see that.
So I think that you will enjoy this. In honor of the first ever National Tight End Day, we've made you a belt. Hey, how about that belt? We're going to ask you to sign it in the middle, George, where your initials and picture are, and then we're going to send it to the best tight end of every week for the rest of the season, and they are going to sign it in the appropriate place on the side. And then we're going to take it with us to Super Bowl, and we're going to auction it off, and we're going to send the proceeds to the Iowa's Children's Hospital. What do you think of that?
That's almost as cool as The Rock following me on Twitter, so thank you for that. The belt itself is amazing. I don't know if I'm going to actually send it back to you guys, though. I might just keep it myself because it's so pretty. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. But no, I'm looking forward to it. And anything for the Iowa Children's Hospital, that's pretty special to me. So thank you so much.
Well, here's the thing, George. You don't have to send it back if you win it this week by being the best tight end in the league against the Panthers and Luke Kuechly. Can you do it? And I might not be asking for fantasy purposes, but I might be.
You said you had me in 2 of your fantasy leagues, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
I'll do my best for you. Also, I don't think that was a great promo to start that off. Like, you did great right there.
I was like your hype man.
That was a great intro. You killed it.
Just to take this wrestling theme all the way throughout. Thanks for checking in, George. Good luck this week.
Hey, thank you so much.